It's an uprising. It's an uprising.
Just to kind of call folks is that, I learned from Malcolm, posthumously. Kwame Ture learned from him in life. And what Kwame did with a lot of Malcolm's insights on organizing, he kind of crystallized into a core teaching. Revolutionaries don't just mobilize around issues. Revolutionaries organize against systems. Stop pouring your energy into mobilizations around resisting the carceral state, mobilizations around a free Palestine, mobilizations against ICE, and organize for political power that can tear down the system that undergirds all of these. That's why I'm running for office, because I believe that the role of a political party in a revolutionary movement is that it helps channel people's energy from mobilization around issues to organization against systems, to existing in siloed mobilizations where you can be taken out easily, to standing in solidarity and taking down the beast. I know that we're going to win. 5 centuries of white supremacist capitalist empire is over. We just have to do the work.
There you go.
Nice. So welcome to the Green Live stream. That was, of course, Mr. Butch Ware running for governor in California. He's got a big week going on. If you're not signed up to his email list, y'all should be. It's butchwareforgov.com. He's having a big fight with Politico right now because they won't let him on the stage. But I'll put up his banner and say, hey, what's up, Mr. Scott? Sorry.
Hey, everybody. No, that's fine.
Gets me going.
Yeah, right. No. I love when we do that, when we open it with a video of someone. And yeah, Butch makes a really, I've never heard it said so strongly because, and again, I don't want it to be a contest between two ideas, whether you go out and protest or whether you work in electoral politics. I would love for both people to be doing both. But there's no doubt that we are the side that gets crapped on the most. And so many protest people say, oh, I don't do electoral politics. Well, folks, then what are you out there protesting? If you're out there protesting against laws, those laws were created by the people in electoral politics. So it makes no sense to have no involvement in electoral politics. That makes no sense. That, to me, that means you're not actual serious. You think you're serious because you go out and do really rough protests and you fight the police, and that's great. But
I kind of see it as a yes and, like, protest is step 1. Which we need step 2, 3, 4,
Well, if they don't do it, then I just feel like they're not helping the situation. They're just not. Black Lives Matter were one of the biggest protests in U.S. history. What did we get out of that? More funding for police.
Right.
So, folks,
Yeah, it is good, but there's a danger there. It's good as far as like showing your solidarity, risking a little bit, changing public opinion. Public opinion has changed. We're there. So now what? 2026 is right around the corner. We need different people in office that will not take the billionaire, corporate, corrupting influence of all that cash, that are working class, that are authentic, that will fight and represent you. So a vote for a green is actually a vote for yourself. Yeah. But I wanted to share this part. So Politico is trying to keep Butch off the stage, acting like it's a governor forum. Well, if you don't have all the candidates, it's not a forum. It's a performative act.
Right.
And I wrote to them today and told them so. Californians deserve much, much better. And there's the email right down there.
Yes, everyone, please do that. I also sent an email yesterday.
I'll put it in the chat. It's also in the show notes as well.
Okay. Yeah, we really need to put the pressure on. And it's not a coincidence that they just put an article out this past week saying, oh, it doesn't help to work outside of the two-party system. So they knew that, they were going to be doing a little tactic right here. And so they were trying to get ahead of that story. But no, we need to demand that all of the candidates be in their forum. That's the main way that we get left out. I mean, there's the famous 2016 where Jill Stein was trying to break through and get on the stage of the presidential debate. They held her in a room the whole time, and no, it's disgusting, but they try to do everything they can because they know if they put Butch Ware on the stage, he's going to blow everybody else out of the water. And they all fund the genocide, Porter funded the genocide. Yeah. So, yeah.
And I told them, I said, it's performative at best and partisan at worst.
Yeah.
You're being gatekeepers. You're doing a disservice to the people of California, to democracy, and yourselves, and your reputation as trying to be, news. Yeah. Ugh, yeah. Gross. But I put the email in the chat. Write them. Let's flood them.
Absolutely.
And that's it. Yep, you're right, Hazel. To not put a vice presidential nominee for the third largest party in the country,
right,
that got nearly 1 million votes on the stage.
Right. He is not a nobody.
Yeah.
He is very well known.
And he is serious as a heart attack,
Yep.
Okay. So, please support Butch. And this is not a California issue. This is a going up against, the powers that be issue. Should Butch win California? It's on, baby. And they know it. They know that's going to be the tipping point, and that's why they're fighting so hard.
And there's no doubt this is our, since Jill Stein's 2024 run, this is our biggest election, is Butch Ware for governor of California. So it's big, but it's also important that everyone who is even partially involved with the Green Party or likes the Green Party understands that it's a 50-state issue. We have to be supporting folks in other states and not just in the state we're in. And, the Green Party is a bottom-up type of system. So really the states all do their own things. And so, but it's really incumbent on us to help the other states. It really is.
Yeah, this is a moment we need to pull together.
Yeah.
Because so far there's been some wins across the country on local and maybe a little bit of statewide offices, but we need to take it to the next level now. The states have to start working together. And I know Maine is like independent, and they wrote to me and said something, and we kind of do it too on our Facebook or whatever, like, oh, this has nothing to do with Illinois, or this has nothing to do with Maine. But I think that attitude is changing because we realize it's all the same fight. Right. Maybe not advertise our events somewhere that people can't go, but other than that, yeah. But here's Butch tweeting some facts. Too many Americans want political entertainment, not leadership. Gavin Newsom, current governor of California, Gavin's social media manager has liberal lemmings running off a cliff applauding their own oppression. They'd rather he clap back than fight back. Gerrymandering isn't resistance to fascism. It's capitulation. It's the same thing.
Absolutely. And you might as well show his second post.
Yeah, I'm getting it.
Yeah.
Gavin's performance art ain't going to save democracy. Neither is tit for tat voter suppression. If I was California governor, I would be fighting in California to institute ranked choice voting, multi-member districts, and proportional representation. That's how you fix gerrymandering.
Right.
Not they did it, I'm doing it bigger, and then they did it. It's choosing your voters instead of the voters choosing you.
And he makes a really good point. You just see it. You saw the incredible barrage of pro-Gavin Newsom memes this week. I mean, they just went on the attack because that's how they work it. But it's so gross to watch people just all band behind it. And again, it's because liberals, sorry, I'm picking on liberals again. They treat politics like theater. They don't know. They probably don't know that Gavin Newsom ensured that Medicare statewide in California did not happen. Medicare for all statewide. He made sure that did not happen. And they kind of don't care.
It's like, oh, we don't have the votes.
Right. And he has blocked so many progressive legislations in his career. But again, it's like they don't care because they actually don't care about the policies. I think it's just, again, it's just showing how privileged liberals are. They don't actually care. They just want their team to win. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Who can they get to get their team to win?
Yeah. It's not a team sport, dude. It's
No.
democracy. My California's coming out.
Hey, Kalia.
Dude. Kalia is here.
Kalia,
She's going to
sorry.
be filling in for me when I go on vacation.
Yes.
So we're not going to leave you stranded.
Yes.
Kalia's going to be great.
Although might as well announce now, we're not doing a show next Saturday, folks. So if you're, looking for us next Saturday, we're not doing a show.
Right.
But then after that, Kalia will be guest hosting for the next Saturday after that. So.
Yep. And Mitsunagi says liberals are shallow voters as well. Like it is for a lot of them, it is like a team sport. Like what? Well, Team Red's bad, so I gotta vote blue. Like, and there's no like diving in to really understand why that's not okay anymore. It may have never been okay, but especially now that Biden and Harris constructed, executed a genocide on the Palestinian people and have been bad on many, many, many other things. I saw somebody online at Israel something, his name's something like that. I can't remember his name on Facebook was talking about Biden made sure that we didn't get, abortion rights. Biden made sure about other things like the student debt relief.
Right.
Could have been a blanket.
Right.
I know someone personally that's 75 years old that still owes $12,000 on a student loan from the 80s.
Right. No, I mean, they could have done it all. They had a super majority with Obama. Any progressive legislation you can think of, the Democrats could have done, but they didn't. Yeah. And, they've got Cinema and Manchin in there. Why don't they try to primary them? Why do they support them to such a degree? Because they're a tool. They're a tool for the Democratic Party to have an excuse to get nothing done.
Yeah.
And
I was just going to say the SEIU Butch Ware on X status was the next thing if you wanted to play that. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Let me get it up here. Takes me a minute.
That's okay. Yeah, so that's why we are here. And we're growing all the time. Like it's still growing after 2024. We are the third largest party in the country. And the only one of the top 3 that does not take those dirty, nasty donations. Okay.
And we'll be talking about more of that later on in the show.
My name is Butch Ware, and I'm here at the SEIU Governor's Candidate Forum. And what I would do for state workers in the state of California is bring a real working class politics to the governor's mansion because I work for the working class, not for the ruling class. That means we're running on universal health care, housing first. We're running on free tuition, education, protecting immigrant rights in communities, and divestment from genocide. So if you are sick and tired of corporate-owned parties that come in either blue or red flavors, go green. My name.
And that's the thing, when we say those policies, the Democrats might say some of those same policies, but they make sure they never get those in. That's the difference. That is the huge difference there.
Yep. And he's running a great campaign.
Yes.
Hey, Alexandria's here.
All right.
Alexandria, love y'all. Hope everyone is having a good evening.
Well, it will be. It's a place.
Okay. Yeah, Butch Ware's campaign has me excited. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, we're excited to be trying to help out Butch over here in our way.
Yeah. Dems needed something to run on. That's why they don't fulfill their promises. They care about the money more than the people.
Right.
Yeah, it's a wedge issue. It's a fundraising issue. That's why nothing ever gets accomplished. Instead of just doing the job that the people sent you there to do.
And it's blatant lies, like Biden's public option. I mean, he pushed that in his campaign forever, and then day one disappears.
Yeah, and he also said, Biden also said during the debates, I remember this distinctly, against Bernie, should Medicare for all come to his desk, he would veto it.
Yep.
That's the Democratic Party, y'all.
Right.
You're not going to change them.
Gavin Newsom, same way, would veto. I mean, it's not ever going to come up. Yeah, right. He did it in California. So
basically.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's enough of that, and please go support Butch. Even he loves one, so $11 a month,
Oh,
is
Okay.
what I donate. So yeah. Don't have a lot of money, but everybody's got to, you can sacrifice something else. Cancel your Amazon Prime or something and donate it to Green Party.
Yeah.
Amazon's the enemy of the people.
Oh God, in so many ways.
Butch is fighting for the people. So there you go. If it needs to be this, find something that's bad, get rid of that, and then donate to Green. But so here's one that, although I disagree with her on lots and lots of things, she makes sense on a couple of levels. I don't believe in America only. That's not a thing. Because we should be a nation among nations. However, property taxes are stupid and extractive and causes people that don't have a lot of money to lose their homes. I agree. We should abolish them. And here in Illinois, there's a way to do that. I'm working with some people trying to figure out how that would actually, what the legislation would look like. But the LaSalle Street tax is like 0.00000 something 3 on all the transactions that happen on Chicago's Wall Street.
Mhm.
Would raise $12 billion a year. It could eliminate property taxes, I bet.
Yeah.
I mean, why are we still paying rent to the government on property that we bought outright?
Right.
Why?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. And you're going to talk about the China aspect, right?
Oh, I can't just say, right. China, you pay a tax on when you purchase the house, and then that's it. There's no property tax in China.
Mm-hmm.
And which makes sense. You buy something, you shouldn't keep paying tax on it every year. It's just, utterly.
Yeah. Well, to drain this a little, she's talking about we need to completely abolish property taxes. Agree. Secondly, health insurance is a giant scam. Agree.
Yeah.
America only, disagree.
And again, I mean, it's coming from, a crazed Republican, but it's really important that these issues be brought up. And I'm thankful she's doing it. I mean, again, people want to, it's the issues that count, not the people presenting the issues.
Mm-hmm.
And, would she do it when in office? Maybe not. But those issues need to be presented and need to be presented to her audience. That's, to me, what I like about that. There you go. $26 for 26.
Well, and
Thank you,
thanks
Kalia.
for the reminder, Kalia, because
Yes.
here at the Green Party, we need cash to do all these things, like gas money, money for flyers, and should we have an event, maybe a little pizza party or something to like thank our volunteers, because we can't, we don't have like the endless deep pockets that we can just hire a team to go do a thing. Mostly it's volunteer work. But
And the other
if
thing
you
I
are
wanted
up
to
the top, go ahead and donate.
The other thing I wanted to say about Marjorie Taylor Greene post is, is the progressive caucus of the Democrats working on those two progressive issues? Are they banding together to force it down because they have enough people in the progressive caucus to be able to actually make change? Do they do that? No. Nope, not a word. Not a word. So progressiveness comes from Marjorie Taylor Greene in our government. Woo! We got a problem.
That's terrifying. A little bit. But I'm glad she's saying it because her audience will listen. And then we have a place to we all agree that this should happen so we can band together and fight for it.
Right. I mean, I had a lot of liberal friends that hated that I was involved with the fight against the war machine. What was it? Rage Against the War Machine, because it had, right-wing folks involved in it. It's anti-war, people. You got a problem because some right-wingers are against war? Then you're the problem, because we're trying to get the country to be anti-war. That's a really important issue, no matter what jerks might be involved in it. It's just really important. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe there's some
crazy
lines. If they're, pro-genocide, I don't think I'd work with them, but
they're anti. I mean,
it seems like it wouldn't be if they're anti-war.
No, the things that they start to fall apart on is the trans issues and some other, the other, And
So on a case by case basis, I think, but we can't be an automatic knee jerk. And Clea says there's no such thing as a progressive caucus. Those folks just pander to the voice of the minority to help the majority.
right. Oh, they don't care about us in my Michael Jackson's voice. I'm not going to do one because I couldn't even. I'm the worst impersonator that's ever lived, so I won't do that either.
Well, and then we have,
And then we have this.
unfortunately, Mom Donnie got his own super PAC,
Right.
saying that,
And
so saying the right things, running on the right issues, still taking the cash that probably will eventually undermine everything he ever said.
Right. And DSA, do you still support him now that he takes super PAC money? DSA, do you still support him? Yes, of course they do. Of course they do. And again, I just have an issue with him running in the genocide party. What are you doing? Why are you in the genocide party? The party that invented it. Ugh. Alexandria. As a trans woman myself, I'm disgusted liberal people use my existence as a bludgeon to try and create division within the anti-war movement. Thank you, Alexandria. Thank you. Right. It's so just, of course, we still feel trans issues are ultimately important. Of course they are. But we have to work issue by issue, and we've got to have success in these issues.
Yeah, and once we start winning on these issues, other things will fall in line. Once people figure out that they can win on them, and I think that's why Gaza is such a huge issue. But we're gonna move on to our segment, Venezuela and ICE in Russia. Oh my!
Yeah.
So that was a nod to Wizard of Oz, lions and tigers and bears. The White House calls Venezuela ruler Maduro a narco-terrorist.
And again, they're going to send submarines to surround Venezuela to stop drugs? What are the drugs coming through are the fish carrying the drugs? I mean, what's going on here? It's just the most absurd, again, and it's just scary the way these things just all happen at once, right? And suddenly now, oh my God, narco-terrorism, oh, we have to, And again, folks, it's just because Venezuela has a lot of oil. They got a lot of oil, and they hate that the leader, help me with his name, wants to keep it in Venezuela. It's the same as Russia, people. That's why they hate Russia. They hate Russia because Russia controls their own oil. It's a state-run oil company. That's why they hate Russia. I mean, there's other bigger ideas that they just want to destroy competition. But yeah.
I wanted to go back to the other segment because Abdul Jones, which is in here a lot. Hey, buddy. Yeah. I'm not saying what they say they're going to do isn't a good thing. I'm not saying that at all. And I hope that they actually do it. But there's signs that they won't. This is what I'm saying. Democrats had a supermajority when Obama got elected. They did nothing with it.
Right. It's their actions that count.
Should Mom Donnie win, will he actually follow through? Will he mobilize people to make sure it happens, or will he make excuses like Kamala Harris and Biden did about the minimum wage? Oh, the parliamentarian says we can't do that. Well, look what's happening now. He's doing executive orders. They don't care if it's legal. They're just doing it. And, and going to sort it out later. Democrats put us here. Same thing that happened in Germany. They and Iran. Yeah, I know. They enabled all of this to happen because when they take power, they don't get anything done. And that's the scary part.
Right. That is the problem, is that the Democrats make sure they don't get anything done. That's the problem, folks. And again, I have a moral issue with working in a genocide party. Why do we normalize that? Why do people still talking about Democrats? It's a fucking genocide, people. Why do you still talk about Democrats?
Yeah. Should be no. What did I say before the show?
It should be
no buts. There are no buts.
Non-starter. It should be It should be a non-starter. If somebody's running in the Democratic Party, you should be against them because they got a problem.
Yeah.
That's selling out from day one. From the day they signed that contract, they sold out.
Yeah.
My-
Alexandria, my state senator just met with Brad Schneider, which Alexandria is running against for
Yes.
District 10 in Illinois.
Yes.
Just mentioning that. Instead of arrest him for violating the U.S. Foreign Assistance Act and the Leahy Law.
Mm-hmm.
She lost my vote with that. She failed her duty as an elected official.
Right.
Did you want to bring up the Venezuela article? We can look at that for a sec if you want.
You talking to
Hazel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me go click on it so I can read it myself.
Yeah, please. A little too small
U.S.
text.
Navy destroyer submarine amphibious ships being sent to Venezuela. The White House calls Venezuelan ruler Maduro a narco-terrorist. So
Maduro.
now everybody's a terrorist, you know,
Mm.
and is deploying ships, planes, and Marines in a major show of force. So this is who we are now. We have stopped being the good guys. I don't know when, if we ever were. Maybe we had our moments, but I guess Trump's doing his own flotilla of warships and other military assets to the waters off Venezuela in an operation aimed at Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro.
Right.
The ominous move signals a growing frustration with the Venezuelan leader over the flow of illicit narcotics to the United States.
Hardly that's what it's about. Hardly.
Wrong. Okay, yeah, this article's not the best one.
Well, no. I mean, I don't think that it's fine to bring up just some articles stating what's going on, and yeah, they're every article.
That's good.
Unless it's gonna come from one of our trusted sources is gonna put crap in there. But it's important to know that we're doing this. And again, what the hell are we doing over in Venezuela with submarines? I mean, my God.
What was that guy's name that they tried to get to overthrow the government like a few years back, like maybe 5 years ago or 3
Right,
years
they want to
ago?
install the guy. He's living in Florida now. Right, and they pretended like Rachel Maddow pretended he was the president. She announced him as the president. Oh,
yeah,
help me.
they let him address Congress and stuff. They
Yes.
invited him here. I wish I could think of his name.
Oh,
Somebody in our
God.
audience, if you remember.
Yes.
But Code Pink took over the Venezuelan embassy here in the United States to try to protect it from the coup.
Yeah.
The U.S. was trying to do another coup.
Right.
Yeah, and I just read something I saw on the news today that the FBI went to John Bolton's house.
Right.
Don't know
I
the
did see that.
details on that.
Right.
And he's admitted in public of he's been part of multiple coups d'etat, more than one.
Right. We do this stuff all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what Ukraine was in 2014. We successfully engineered a coup in 2014 and brought in a right-wing extremist neo-Nazi government. That's the thing. And again, the liberals, the poor liberals in this country, they don't understand. If they lived in Ukraine from like 2013 to today, I know for a fact my liberal friends would be there saying, oh my God, our right-wing neo-Nazi Trump-like government is going and killing folks in the eastern part of our country just because they're Russian. And they banned the Russian language, folks. Doesn't that sound familiar?
Was their first move.
Them trying to ban, Spanish language here to make English the only language. That's what they did. They did that like 10 years ago. And people have no idea they'd be on the side of Russia if they lived in Ukraine and saw when the Nazi government took over. I mean, they dragged people out of the streets and forced them into the military, which once they put them on the front line, you have about a 5-day lifespan, folks. Yeah. And they kidnap them off the streets. There are videos of vans coming.
They knock them off the bikes. They beat them into compliance.
So you would not be a fan.
It is martial law. This in Ukraine.
For years.
And a million dead. A million Ukrainians dead. This is what we did.
No elections. Right. No elections there.
No elections. He's not been elected.
He's a dictator. He is a dictator, folks. Yeah.
Yeah. That the person from Venezuela that tried to overthrow Maduro, which was elected, by the way, doesn't matter if you like his policies. He was elected by the people. was Juan Guaido.
Juan Guaido. Yeah, Guaido.
Yeah.
There you go. As we joked, he wasn't even dog catcher. That was the joke at the time.
And I remember watching like people being interviewed in Venezuela. They're like, we don't know this guy. And we don't want nothing to do with him. Who's
And they
this?
pretended on MSNBC that he was the president. Oh my God. They are sick.
So did you want to bring up the next? It's a Twitter about the ICE terrorists, and I'll do the graphic real quick while you're looking for it.
Okay, yeah, this one is really rough, people. And the thing is,
in relation to what's happening, ICE is planning a massive expansion of detention space, documents show. That's what Alligator Alley is about. That's what Cornhusker or something. They were talking about it today on Breaking Points. I'm like, wow. So look at this.
Well, this one okay, what's it called? Warning, trigger warning, folks. I can't actually even watch this. But I'm just going to say that one of the major problems that's happening right now is they're hiring these people, and probably out of the Proud Boys, who have no experience in policing, and they're just deputizing them and putting them in ICE, throwing a mask on them. They have no training. They don't know what they're doing, and hence, when you watch this, it's rough.
And this guy is here legally. He has a work permit. He's done everything correct. Okay. Hazing him.
This is Norwalk, Connecticut.
And every time you heard that click, that was a taser shot. I mean, it was.
He was still tasing him?
Yes, he had it on his back, and I mean, it's just sick.
And how are you supposed to stand up and cooperate if you're being tased?
But again, what the fuck are they tasing people for? I mean, if it's an immigration issue, that's not how you deal with immigration, is tasering people. I mean, yeah.
And he's done everything right.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He's here. He went through the proper channels.
Right.
He did the right thing.
No, the problem was the color of his skin, and that's it. That's the only issue that was involved in that scenario, was the color of his skin.
Alexandria, I didn't know that.
Oh my God. Wow. I know these things are, our country is gone. And now
this is why we need to get involved. We have to be smart. You have to work with your community. You have to get to know your neighbors and your neighbors' neighbors. You have to create alternative systems to keep each other safe. And
this is, I'm going to give the plug with protesting. This is where protesting is absolutely necessary, and we need to organize and be prepared, because as Trump has announced, he's coming to Chicago next. So this is going to hit Chicago probably this upcoming week. Yeah, I mean, we're living in a nightmare.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Yep.
And then Kalia too. Any form of policing should require a 4-year degree with at least a minor in psychology, with continuing education, as well as the Hippocratic Oath.
Right. And
agree.
Yeah. And the reality is that we just need to, almost eliminate policing. We just have to handle it in different ways. I mean, the fact that there are mental health, as folks know, we have mental health emergencies, and they send the police. The exact wrong thing to be doing. Exact wrong thing.
And I know that's true. You call your doctor, they say, well, you can call in a wellness check. That's sending police to the house. Yeah. Especially for a veteran. That is super triggering. You want to make it 1,000,000 times worse? Have the police knock on the door.
Oh my God.
It's just saying, even if they're people that know what they're doing and won't hurt you. But, as we witnessed in Illinois recently, Sandra Massey was murdered by a police officer.
Right. No, we have to dismantle.
In her home, on her knees.
Yeah, we have to dismantle the police system. There is no doubt. that has to be dismantled, just like Israel has to be dismantled, folks. Dismantled. In this country, we have to dismantle our police system.
Yeah, it needs to be completely dismantled and redone.
Yeah.
The people that are, even if you're a good cop, you're still allowing the bad cops to do their bad things.
Right.
So.
Right. Just because you're a good politician, if you sign up with the Democrats, you're doing a bad thing, folks.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Good
Yep.
point, Scott.
Yep.
Nailing it. So I wanted to talk about ACLU. The ACLU demands U.S. court immediately order release of journalist in ICE detention. So this is a journalist. When was he arrested? He's been in there for a couple of months. He only gets 2 hours a day outside his cell, during which time he is taken to another bigger cell that looks like a dog crate, where he can see the sky and breathe fresh air. He's lost approximately 20 pounds during his time in detention. This is in the United States, y'all.
Yeah.
He's experiencing panic attacks, nightmares, and difficulty sleeping. It claims that ICE officer told Guevara while transporting him that he had been a headache, but now they can conduct their operations against immigrants without Guevara reporting on them.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my
The
God.
government's continuing detention of Mr. Guevara on the basis of his journalism is intended to silence him, prevent him from reporting in the future, and retaliate against him for his past speech and reporting in violation of the First Amendment.
And yeah, it's kind of like, reminds me of Israel, right? Where they kill journalists. Why? Because
that's good.
Giving the news. Yep.
Yeah.
No, it's just.
It's not all gloom and doom today, though. We got some fight back in us. Butch is fighting back, you know. And we got more good news after we check in with some Jeffrey Sachs.
Okay.
Bringing the truth, bringing the knowledge.
Jeffrey Sachs
I wish he was in charge. So this is on Breaking Points. This is Crystal Ball. Go ahead.
Relationship with President Trump here, but you said earlier, it seems like the Ukrainian people are exhausted, want to bring this war to a close. It's not clear that their president is on board with that. What do you make of his role and his positioning and what he wants to see going forward?
First, it's important to understand that there is martial law in Ukraine. We watched the videos also of people being forcibly knocked off their bicycles or dragged off the street to the front line to their death. And Zelensky is ruling over a military regime, not a democracy. His democratic term of office expired years ago, and he continues to rule by martial law, basically by decree. So I don't give any legitimacy to his statements as reflecting the will of the Ukrainian people. This is a starting point. I've never really admired what he's done, because rather than signing a peace agreement that he had in front of him in April 2022 that would have ended this war on far better terms than anything that's going to happen now, he let the United States talk him out of that. Maybe he's a mere puppet anyway, but instead of signing an agreement that was on the table on April 15th, 2022 in the so-called Istanbul process, he walked away, has lost massive territory and probably 1 million Ukrainian dead. So I'm no fan, I have to say, no admirer, I'm no believer that this is defending Ukrainian democracy, that there is no democracy. And so one of the things that makes the idea that if Zelensky meets with Putin, he's shown to be on the big stage globally, and then he can maintain his power either through winning a re-election, perhaps, or just expanding and extending his military rule. But this seems to be the carrot that Trump is dangling to Zelensky. I'll put you on the big stage. We won't overthrow you. We won't let Putin diss you. You'll have respect, but you have to give in on this, this, and this. So, frankly, Zelensky is, look, he's losing a war on the battlefield. He doesn't have the public support. He rules by martial law. By all accounts, which I can't personally verify, but by all accounts, the regime is incredibly corrupt. So not only am I no fan, I think probably what Trump is trying to do is to appeal to the most narrow and the basest survival instincts of Zelensky himself, and dangling this meeting with Putin, the big stage summit, as the prize, and then getting Zelensky in one way or another to basically end the rhetoric of fighting on to restore the 1991 borders. I think that's what's happening.
Last thing we wanted your take on, sir, is some of the continued.
Yeah, and I just wanted to make a few comments that a number of comments. So another problem with the left, a real problem with the left, is that they want to tag people with insulting names and call them pro-Russian, so they call them tankies. And the thing is, what they're not understanding is that we're not pro-Russian. We're not pro-Russian at all. We're anti-American interference. That's what we're against. That's what the Ukraine story is about. Now everybody admits it's a proxy war with Russia, right? But who started the proxy war? The U.S. We helped overthrow the government. We brought in a right-wing neo-Nazi government, knowing that their main hatred was Russian. I know that's different for folks who are like neo-Nazi. They think it's just like Jews and blacks and gays, but this particular brand in Ukraine is an anti-Russian neo-Nazi. So and sure enough, they started killing ethnic Russian Ukrainians in the Donbass for 8 years. Okay, so that was the basis of it. So we're not pro-Russia. I don't. Putin's a homophobe, but we are anti-U.S. imperialism and interference, and that's what was going on. And the other, I want to make a couple more statements. So now they had the big conference with all the European leaders. Understand what the European leaders are. They are as corporate controlled as our government is. They don't represent their countries at all. They actually, again, they represent the corporations, the military corporations. That's what they are about. So that's why it's so weird that they want to keep, throwing money at Ukraine. It's not because they don't support their own people either. Just like in America, they are corporate run. They are military industrial complex plants to lead those governments. So that's what that's all about.
And something I think people don't really realize that Jeffrey Sachs kind of made me understand. Zelensky and Trump are kind of in a tough spot because should they actually do what's right, people will probably take them out because that's how bad the system is. So we need a fundamental change to our policy, which will fundamentally change the way we show up in the world, which could save millions of lives around the world.
Yeah, well, I don't know if Zelensky's worth saving. I mean,
I'm just saying,
he destroyed that country. He destroyed that.
He did. He became our puppet, but now he's in the spot of saving his own skin because his people. What's he going to do? Jeffrey Sachs said that if he would stand up now and talk peace, the neo-Nazis that is in the party with him will probably kill him.
Right. Well, that's very true. No, that's very true.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I did want to point out, I put our donation link in the chat, and you don't have to live in Illinois to help us out. This is a 50-state strategy. If we want things to change, we have to do things differently. And you see what's out there, and you see where it's going, right? I think we make that clear every Saturday.
We tried to.
So $20 to $6 a month for 2026, or even if it's $5 a month. Or if you can do $100 a month, depending on your circumstances, it will mean a lot because we do a lot with very, very little. We don't flush $1 billion down the toilet and still owe money to people after the presidential campaign.
And I am going to do my little plug, and will I be able to find my meme? Probably not. I always think of it late. But I want to start a campaign to try to get Jeffrey Sachs to agree to run as a Green Party presidential candidate in 2028. So that's my old little campaign. I wanted to go viral because he to me, I don't know around the other issues, but the thing about the president is the president's main role is foreign policy. That's what people don't realize, is that that's the focus of why they created the presidential role in this country, was foreign policy. He's the expert, and he's got the right takes on everything, and he's had the experience. He's been in all of these countries for years. So that's my little push. I'm going to see if we can get him in there.
Yeah. While you're looking, Hazel, you want to play the next Jeffrey Sachs? This is Danny Haiphong.
Ultimatum to Russia. Of course, I'm not a military authority. I'm a consumer of military news and information. My strong impression from very carefully monitoring what is said by a number of sources is that Russia is winning on the battlefield, that Ukraine does not have the personnel to proceed, and it also can't match Russia on many of the munitions and armaments. That makes perfect sense to me. It is clear that in a war of attrition, as this one essentially is, Russia's going to win this war. That, I think, was obvious from the start. So in this sense, Zelensky's refusal to negotiate does no favor to the Ukrainian people. It's not what the Ukrainian people actually want, as best we can tell. The most recent survey data that is being widely discussed shows that a significant majority of the Ukrainian people want the war to end with negotiations. Zelensky is a military dictator in essence right now. He rules basically without a vote. He is long past his term of office. I'm underwhelmed by Zelensky and have been from the very start. Of course, I have regarded him mostly as a puppet of a variety of forces, the extreme nationalist right of Ukraine on the one part, the United States for a long time. And when the United States started to say, we don't want to go on with this gambit of ours because it failed, then of the Europeans. No doubt Zelensky's in a tough fix, but he's putting his countrymen in an even far worse situation. This war should stop. There should be a settlement on the basis of neutrality, an end of this absolutely reckless U.S. adventure started in the 1990s of moving NATO to Ukraine and Georgia, and some territorial losses because the United States and the Ukrainian post-2014 regime gambled, and they lost. They had many chances to avoid losing the Donbass. It was called the Minsk II agreements. But the United States and Ukraine said, no, we're not going to honor the Minsk II agreements. We're not going to give autonomy to the eastern regions of Ukraine, that is Lugansk and Donetsk. They gambled. I know that the American officials thought that they had the winning hand. I never think much of American strategists, by the way. They're failures. They're not very clever. They got this wrong, and I think predictably so. So this is a gamble that's failed. But Zelensky, for many reasons that are absolutely hard to weight appropriately.
Yeah. So he is right. Crimea, Donbass, Donetsk, those are ethnic Russian areas. They speak Russian. They identify as Russian very often. And so when the coup of 2014 happened, Russia went immediately into Crimea. Now, all of those territories had their own independent votes, and they were voting, I think, Crimea, I can't remember, but it was all at least for independence. They wanted to be independent of the Ukrainian government because they knew what kind of a government it was. Yeah, right. It was right in independence. I think Crimea actually maybe said they wanted to be with Russia. I don't remember the specifics, but anyway.
Yeah.
So, right. So Russia went into Crimea immediately because that's where their military base was. So they knew that they had to hold that. And so, again, the people of those areas, they were thrilled to see Russia come in because they were being killed, at least Donbass and Donetsk, for 8 years. So, and then the other, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and originally that Russia just wanted to protect their independence because they were being attacked. They weren't trying to annex them. They weren't trying to do any of that. And none of this would have happened if we hadn't have done the coup. And there you go.
Right. And so when he said it was the number 2 of the negotiations, there were actually 3 of them in total. And Russia always was ready to come to a negotiation and end things. And it was always the West that stopped it. They wanted the continuation. And again, America doesn't even want to win. The U.S. government doesn't necessarily want to win this war. If they actually did, they'd bring in troops. But they don't. They don't want to win it. They want it to continue. Because it's an industry, folks. That's what it is. It is taxpayer money going to the military industrial complex companies. That's what this is about for many of those in the U.S. government. I mean, think about how Afghanistan took 20 years. Why 20 years for a little podunk country like Afghanistan? We could have wiped them out in a week. But that wasn't the point. The point was to have wars going. That's what they want. That's what it is. They want wars. They want wars. Now, some people have specific places they want us to go to for their own reasons, mostly to grab the oil. Israel, right?
Israel has a list of 7.
Right.
And we've been into, well, we've now attacked all 7.
6 or maybe all 7. Yeah, maybe all 7. Yeah.
Iran was the last one. And,
okay.
and we struck their nuclear facilities this year. Good job.
Right.
And remind me who was president for 8 of the years in the 90s? Let's see.
Clinton. And which who was our president when our State Department went in and the CIA did a coup in 2014 to Ukraine to start this whole nightmare? Obama. Now, Obama actually did not want to send funding at first to Ukraine, the NATO funds, but then that started to happen and went all through Trump's and Biden's administrations. But it really heightened under Biden's and really heightened to the point where Russia went in 2022. So,
well, yeah. Hazel, did you want to play? It starts at like 15 something, the second part of that, because it's really good.
And Macron would jump up and down. And the job of the president would be, now this is the point, a statesman would not only make the deal, but he'd explain it. And you know what? If he explained to the American people, extending NATO was a gambit. It was against a promise that was explicitly made to Gorbachev and to Yeltsin back in 1990, 91, and 92. It was a bad idea. We knew it was dangerous all along. Our top diplomats told us that. George Kennan told us that. Jack Matlock told us that. Bill Burns told us that. All of them said the same thing. We knew it, but we thought we could get away with it because Russia was weak. Well, they played the poker hand, they bluffed, they raised the stakes, they lost. So now we're ending this particular game. If he explained that, the American people would stand up and cheer because this would be truth. It would make sense to them. He would explain clearly what he's doing, and he would win a battle against an idiot like Lindsey Graham. Not even close. But he doesn't do that. Why? 2 reasons. 1, maybe 3 reasons. 1, he's incompetent. That's a pretty good guess. Kennedy was not incompetent. Kennedy was gifted and became even more gifted in the final year of his life. 2nd, he's afraid that he's politically cowardly. Or 3rd, quite possibly, and it's part of the incompetence, perhaps he doesn't understand what real politics is. Real politics is not true social messages or threats to others. It's actually, in a country like the United States, it's actually engaging with the people. It is. It sounds naive, but it's true. If he wants to win this fight against Lindsey Graham and against Palantir and against the military-industrial complex and against the CIA, he has to take the case to the people. And if he did, he'd win. Subject to that last footnote that I mentioned earlier. Maybe he's just afraid. Maybe that's why it's so hard to make peace, because we are not really a democracy in the United States. We're not really a republic. We're really a military state dressed up with elections. But if the presidents don't have the guts to make peace, then what we are really is a garrison state. We're just what Dwight Eisenhower said we would be when Dwight Eisenhower gave his farewell message on January 17th, 1961. The military-industrial complex runs our country. That's the real issue here. Now, how much Trump understands?
Yeah.
I've never heard it phrased that way, that we are the military industrial complex. And that's a good way to think of it. That, yeah, we just
That's
pretend
great.
we have some of fake elections, but we actually are. Yeah, that's a
Well,
good way of putting it.
and it's because the people haven't held anyone accountable in decades. The elections can work should we, vote for the people that will end this bullshit and make sure that it is done correctly and counts. And if they try to sideline it, strike. And that brings us to our next subject.
Well, I got more to say.
Okay.
Please. So yeah, one of the, he talks about bringing it to the people.
Mhm.
He wouldn't be the right person. That's the problem, because certainly liberals aren't going to think anything he says is valid. He's not capable. So that part was a little weird. But, there is I'm going to bring one example of liberals who think they're anti-war, but they're pro-NATO. And they don't understand how the system works. It is impossible to be pro-NATO and anti-war, because that's what NATO does, is provoke war. But I just want to do a quote of this person on Facebook, and I just thought it was brilliant, because they were talking about Ukraine and how we have to get rid of this narrative and get people to understand, the actual situation that's going on. They've been so brainwashed to equate Trump with Putin, Trump, Putin, Trump, Putin for 8 years now, that they hate Putin because they hate Trump. And so this was from a Corte Yeo. I do not know this person, but I saw it on Facebook. I thought it was brilliant. You were talking about getting rid of narratives. Yes, and it's not one or two false narratives. It's a matrix of hundreds of false narratives woven into this mythology of who we are as a nation. Exposing one or two false narratives is a good thing, but it's pulling on a small string, and the whole tapestry really needs to be undone. And I think that says it so perfectly. It's this false narrative that people have had for their entire lives of what the U.S. is. And it's trying to completely disrupt it and tear it apart, because they don't understand we're not the good guys. We are not the good guys, folks. Understand this. Try.
I wanted to mention about a comment that Barbara C was putting here, talking about MMT. People, you found it.
Yeah, I found it.
People talk about your taxpayer dollars because that's the way the public understands it. They're not nuanced and all that. But MMT is about, your household needs to balance its budget. Your state and your city and your county all needs to balance the budget. Federal government does not, because they are the issuer of the currency. So anybody want to look up Stephanie Kelton's, remind me the name of the book. Miss Barbara, the MMT theory, basically.
Yeah, right.
It's interesting, and it
It
makes
is.
a lot of sense.
It is.
All these things that they claim to say they don't have money for, it's a policy choice, because they are the creators of the money. What they have to do is decide what they're going to invest in. Yeah, the deficit myth. Thank you, Barbara. And it's a good book, and I lost my copy. I'm going to have to get another one to refresh my memory. So.
And is there a way to get that graphic I did on Jeffrey into our chat? Is that doable?
Send it in the private chat, maybe. Into the chat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, Hazel. Maybe that sounds like more your speed. But Jeffrey Sachs for president. Well, is it on the Facebook? Our Facebook?
I just thought you guys share stuff into the comments all the time, don't you?
I do
links and stuff.
Yeah, this one. I want Jeffrey Sachs, Green Party presidential candidate 2028. Let's go.
How do I do it though?
Yeah, I don't know, but okay. We'll have it on our socials for sure. And if Hazel can figure it out, can you imagine? He's a statesman. He's got the knowledge. He's been dealing with these people for most of his life. He would make us respected again. He would save lives around the world.
Well, and I'm kind of I'm surprised by his bravery, because I would think that they would take him out. because he's so high profile and he says the things that, you know, exposes our government. So I'm really surprised that he's still with us, actually.
And I'm
So,
glad.
yeah.
But yeah, so there is some good news, and I know it's one. We're gonna go a little past, maybe like 15, 20 minutes. So the next thing is, so on, I'll bring up the thing. It's call for global strike. That's the Instagram, but I'll bring up the, or do we have that graphic? Yeah, we do. So Green Party of the United States is supporting the global strike for Gaza. The world has to answer. It started on the 23rd, which was or 21st. It was Thursday.
Yeah.
Every Thursday. I got an article that kind of describes how to do it, but just don't do anything. Just withdraw your money, withdraw your labor if you can. Don't risk your job because, you know, you need that. But for those that can, you know, this is similar to what Scott and I tried to start. But now it's still picking up steam. People aren't going, well, you can't strike without the union. Yeah, you can. It's a personal strike that we want to go global because Palestinians are not going to live for very much longer. They are in famine stage. But go ahead and put, if you got Ty Hickey ready? Which one is it?
Just tell me when it's an Instagram and then I'll have it ready.
Oh, it's
is that the Instagram?
It's right under Global Strike now. It's call for Global Strike. It's the Instagram, yeah.
Oh, Instagram. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
He's awesome. I know, you're right, Brian.
Hi guys, just a quick message to say that I fully endorse calls from legendary Egyptian actor and human rights activist Amr Waked for a global strike this coming Thursday. That's the 21st of August. Don't go to work, don't buy anything, engage in acts of civil disobedience. Let's hit them where it hurts. The only language that they understand is the language of cash. So let's grind this economy to a halt. Do you know that in the psycho state yesterday, they had complete buy-in from all sectors of society, hundreds of thousands of people on the street, grinding their economy to a halt, not in protest against the genocide in Gaza, God forbid. No, they were protesting that any more Israeli lives would be caught up in all this mass murder as Israel proceeds to the final stages of genocide and ethnic cleansing. You know, you got to give them something. They're so well organized, and when they want something done, they get it done. What are we doing over here in the West? They're grinding their economy to a halt to protect their baby killers. The least we can do here in the West is grind our economies to a halt to protect the babies, the mothers, the fathers, who they are killing and starving to death as we speak. So please, guys, this Thursday, the 21st of August, do not feed the war machine a moment longer. We're going to do it this Thursday, and we're going to do it every Thursday until our cowardly governments do the right thing and sanction the hell out of this rogue psychopath state. Free Palestine.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And I think their idea is a little better than ours because it's weekly. And I like that idea that everyone just get in your heads. Okay, Thursday, spend no money. Spend no money. And again, you know, it's the thing is we do have the capabilities. We've seen the protests around the globe and around the country. I mean, there's a lot of people who are on our side and believe in this cause. And it is true. That's the only way to disrupt is economically.
Yeah. And I would say the only thing that, you know, on Thursday that I'm going to do is to do activist things like go to our Green Party meeting and talk about the strike and talk about how to fight, you know, and how to get people elected. Or I went to community conversations in my city that was put on by the local gallery stating, you know, I'm on strike. I came here to tell you about the strike. You know,
yeah. Right.
I didn't buy a damn thing.
Yeah.
I had my TV off all day. I had my phone off almost all day. So they can't even, so I wasn't even tempted with social media. I think I got on there for a minute and posted about what I was doing and then got off. And having your phone off was kind of a relief, to be honest.
I don't know if that's officially part of the strike, but
That was
yeah,
the way
that's
I
your
did it.
version. Okay. Yeah. But
Yeah.
no, there's no doubt that if we can get people to just stop buying, especially from Amazon, but just stop purchasing. Alexandra, bless you for all of this. It genuinely warms my heart. I'm surrounded by people willing to put a spotlight on the genocide and oppose it. It's truly an honor to be with y'all. Oh, thank you, Alexandra. And folks, we are going to be helping Alexandria in her campaign for U.S. House, and that's District 10 in Illinois against Brad, the evil Brad Schneider. So,
Dr. Evil Schneider.
I mean, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. If there was a contest, who's the most evil politician in this country? I mean, it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to,
That's pretty bad.
Lindsey Graham's up there, but I mean, they are all sick individuals.
That's a contest you don't want to win.
Yeah,
we got so many, contestants.
they're all sick. They're all really sick and twisted. I don't know. There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than the politicians we have. They put on nice faces and oh my God, it's really gross. It's really gross to watch these people. So we got to get rid of them all, people. We got to get rid of them all.
Yes.
That's the goal.
I wanted to move on to the next article that has everything to do with this.
Yeah.
Classified IDF intel reveals 83%. 83%. That's more than 3 out of 4 of Palestinians killed in Gaza are civilians. So they know they're killing civilians.
Well, of course. I'm surprised that number. Well, that's their own intel.
That's their own internal.
I mean, I'm surprised it's not higher because it's
well, that's like the most generous view.
Yeah. Right.
I would say it's probably 95%.
Yeah, it's got to be 90. It's got to be 99. I mean, and even again, it's just.
And this is Brett Wilkins' Common Dreams, by the way.
And in a way, they're all civilians. I mean, it's just a stupid idea. It's like it's not like there's any. It's not. They're not. It's not a war. They have no military. They got some people who are willing to throw a rock and pick up a gun if they can get one.
Well,
and,
they do have some people doing some ops because they do got a small number of people that are trying to fight back and get food for their people. I get that.
Is there a military? Is there a government funded military? No.
Well,
I mean, it's just
they destroyed their government.
But the language is kind of, again, they always want to say war.
God.
It's not a war.
Are you guys seeing this? Are you on the Owen Jones post on, I guess that's Blue Sky, right? A leaked Israeli intelligence report reveals what was obvious all along. The vast majority of Palestinians slaughtered by Israel in Gaza are civilians, which means you didn't do anything wrong. You're just living your life. There was never an excuse for not knowing the truth. This is a genocide, not a war. And look at the comparison. Yeah. Wow. And I would think we're probably in the Rwanda range. 1994, 99.8% people killed in Rwanda in 1994 were civilians.
Yeah, I don't know about that data. I'd have to research that. I don't like to discuss things of which I have knowledge.
Yeah, I'm just saying that they're pointing it out, and I'm sure it's verifiable.
Yeah, I guess I have an issue with the context. I mean, how are we going to even look at numbers? Come on, they blew up hospitals. I mean, it's just like crazy. Nowhere was it. It was never a war. It was never any kind of, it's
Thanks,
just
Hazel.
A concentration camp. That's what it's been. But so it's kind of a weird context to frame it for me. But yeah.
I think they're just saying that they know that they're killing civilians. They internally have admitted to themselves that they know that that's what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean,
and then the next article is famine officially declared in Gaza after 2 years of near total Israeli blockade. And they don't do this lightly. There are special organizations that do this, experts. Israel's famine is a man-made disaster. So this is forced famine. Nothing they did. They didn't deserve it. Nothing they've done. If anything, I mean, they've agreed to how many ceasefires Israel always breaks it. So Israel's famine is a man-made disaster, a moral indictment, and a failure of humanity itself, said UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. Famine is not about food. It is the deliberate collapse of the systems needed for human survival. Experts have long pointed out that conditions must be extremely dire for the IPC to classify a famine, as the group can only do so in response to escalated mortality and starvation rates. For months, Palestinians have pleaded for the entry of food, and humanitarian groups have warned of famine, but instead of allowing more aid, Israel and the U.S. came up with the Gaza Humanitarian Fund scheme. Good answer. That made getting food a death trap.
Yeah.
And
you
piece that I wanted to talk
it's
about.
a sick society. It's a sick society. We've seen the film, the footage of all the people blocking the food trucks, smashing the food trucks, throwing the stuff out. And is there, like, if that hadn't happened in America, we would go there and do a protest against those people, right? We fight them to allow the food in, but nobody's there fighting them to allow the food in. It's a sick society. I mean, Israel is a huge historic mistake that this world made to allow it exist. It shouldn't have existed, and we have to dismantle that country. We have to dismantle it. It cannot exist. The two-state solution is a effing joke. How on earth could you live next to this country? There's no such thing as a two-state solution. The war, I could call it a war because if they have a state, maybe they could have a government that be functioning. If the war would start on day one. I mean, there
they've
is
attacked all of their neighbors.
Yeah, there is no, no. And we allow such racism to just exist in our modern era. It's crazy that we allow white racism, white supremacy to exist on this level. It's amazing. I mean, we got rid of apartheid, South Africa in the 80s, right? And now here we are 40 years later, and we can't get rid of this vast racist system that exists. We got to dismantle it all, folks. Dismantle it all.
And it's similar to what we did when we founded this country, that we've never come to terms with. We came from Europe, most of us here, and devastated the indigenous population. Same thing that happened.
But that was the 1500s,
Israel.
the 1500s and the 1600s and the 1700s. This is 2025.
I know.
We shouldn't be allowing this shit to go on. We shouldn't.
Yeah. And they could get away with a lot of stuff because nobody could stop them, or nobody knew, or they had the blessings of whatever royalty that said, yeah, go get me some of that over there, But I wanted to continue this part. So as of August 2025, famine IPC phase 5, final phase, with reasonable evidence is confirmed in Gaza governance, the group said, referring to the region of Gaza encompassing Gaza City and surrounding areas. The experts said famine conditions are expected to spread to the areas of Deir al-Balah, I'm probably saying that wrong, and Khan Yunis by the end of September, barring a complete cessation of Israel and the U.S.'s starvation campaign. The U.S. is starving people, not just the ones here. The group said that over 500,000 Palestinians are facing phase 5 food insecurity, which is the group's most dire classification of catastrophe or famine. About 1.1 million Palestinians, roughly half the population, are experiencing phase 4 emergency levels of hunger, while the remaining population, roughly 200,000, are experiencing a food crisis of phase 3. So everybody there is starving to death. Just saying. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I heard that now this time the flotilla is a number of boats. That's what I've heard. And Greta's on it, and the other actress, forgetting her name, Susan Sarandon is on it.
Sarandon.
So,
Greta went back. Awesome.
Yeah, she's going to be on it again. And I think it leaves on the 31st. I'm pretty sure.
That's
And
my birthday. Woo, woo.
okay.
Yeah, that would be the best present ever. Aid into Gaza. So here at the Green Party, we are solutions based. We gave you one: strike every Thursday. Don't do a damn thing. Take your money out if you can stop your labor, and only spend your efforts in organizing against the system. And here's another thing that you can do. I don't know if you have this graphic up. Here are the companies.
Oh, did I put the companies?
Let me see if I can find it real quick. But I wanted to talk about that article.
I'll get it.
Okay. Well, we'll do the article first then. Hazel, the global strike for Gaza, why this moment calls for economic disruption. This is Aalia Mauro. This really hit me hard. For one, the picture. Ooh. Israel is pushing to permanently erase Palestinians from Gaza. 2 million people are being driven toward death. This week alone, 266 have starved, 112 of them children. Our global duty. I don't know if any of you follow Bizan, but she's been continuously reporting from Gaza. But, she's had it with inaction, and I get it. Bizan Odwa sounded the alarm. When governments refuse to listen, it's on us, the global collective, to act. That's why this is not another statement in the feed. This is a global economic strike for Gaza starting Thursday, August 21st, 2025, and every Thursday after. Every swipe not made, every tap not executed, every commute avoided matters. What to do step by step. No purchases on Thursday. No groceries, coffee, online orders, nothing. Also cancel or pause subscriptions auto-deducted on that day. That'll scare the heck out of the streaming services. Like, wait, what? Avoid public transit. Walk, bike, or carpool instead. If you must ride, buy tickets in advance so no transaction is registered on Thursday. No fuel, no charging. Let every penny you don't spend be part of the collective impact. Work safe advice. This isn't about risking your job. If possible, use a day off. But if you can't, every act of non-spending still builds power. I did want to mention too. Oh, I'll just keep reading because this is so good. In many Western countries, household consumption makes up 60 to 70% of GDP. That's not some abstract statistic. It's the lifeblood of the system. When we stop spending for a day, it shows up in retail data, energy reports, and financial flows. Analysts notice. Politicians pay attention. Stop calling them. They don't care what you got to say. This is what they'll pay attention to. In the U.S., consumer spending averages $45 to $50 billion a day. A 5% participation rate in the strike could deliver a $2 to $2.5 billion dent in a single day. Sustained weekly, that becomes an undeniable pattern of disruption. History shows how it worked. She mentions the Montgomery bus boycott in 1955 to 56, the Delano grape strike 1965 to 70, cottage cheese boycott in Israel 2011, longstanding boycotts against South Africa's apartheid, Coors beer boycott 1970s and 80s.
Cool.
Why it matters now, consumer spending shapes economies, boycotts and signals beyond short-term data. Recent economic blackouts show the need for scale and consistency.
No, I hope this can take off. I really do. I think a weekly is a really good idea. And I do have the graphic up now, if you want.
Okay.
Of the BDS specifically focused. These are the ones, if you're going to definitely stop on these as a priority. But yeah, because, right, all of these businesses are somehow intertwined with the whole genocide in Gaza. And
yeah, you could just start with the food.
Yeah.
Just don't buy. I mean, none of that food's good for you anyway. It's fast food. It's really bad for you. They put stuff in it that, it's kind of addictive, and when's the last time you felt good after going to McDonald's?
Yeah.
After eating a burger? So McDonald's, 3 pizza chains. That kind of surprised me. Domino's Pizza, Papa John's, Burger King, Pizza Hut, and Wix is a website builder, right?
That sounds, yeah.
I think it is. But if it isn't, oh well. But just look, and I tell you how you do it. This is how you do it. You go look at your bank statement. You go back to the 1st of last month and Reebok. Yep. Go look back and look at the 1st of the month, say last month. Look at all your spending, and anything on this list that pops up, make a different choice.
But on Thursday, make no choices.
And on Thursday,
and don't excessively spend on Friday. Otherwise,
it didn't work.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think, you know, they need to see the effect. They need to see it. And we'll see if it goes, you know, viral. God. I hope.
Mitsunagi. I quit my job at Domino's back in February 2024.
Yeah.
I haven't worked since.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to work for the evil doers.
Oh God.
And it's a terrible job too. Yeah. I mean, they don't pay you enough to even do it. But anybody want to go? You see my name, Edie Arndell. Go to my Facebook. I'm sure I posted it at least 2 to 3 times everywhere. Or go to the Illinois Green Party Facebook group. Yep.
All right.
Are we almost done? Let's see.
You know what? I want to we can really briefly cover this story because I do want to cover it. We could just put up the, So I don't know if you folks saw this where an Israeli official who was arrested in a Nevada child sex operation released and sent back to Israel. The only one released of that group. It was about 9 people, I think, who were arrested. And so the story is that the release and sent to Israel was done by the Trump government and on the orders of Netanyahu. This guy was an intelligence official working for Netanyahu. So who knows what else he was doing in America? Probably, you know, spying. And
they said he was here to meet with officials.
Okay. But anyway, he was released. So this story broke. None of the majors covered it, but of all the people that were covering it, it was being covered online a huge amount. Well, it was also pulled from they stripped it off of Twitter. People started complaining, hey, the posts I did about this are gone. The posts I did about this are gone.
You want me to put this up?
Well, put up let's do the Iverson one. Although is that,
that's one of yours. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
I was just going to put this part up.
Go ahead. Put some other things. Yeah.
Grok again confirms that my tweets and Groks on the Israeli pedophile, Tom Alexandrovich, were all removed at the request of Israel's Cyber Request Unit, except that we didn't dox anyone. Not under any definition of the word. That's a complete fabrication.
Let me put up the Kim Iverson.
Okay. I'll take this down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wasn't ready yet.
Oh. Well, I got another one. It's
about a 5-step process.
I got another one. I'll do the next one then. You have it? Shoot, I knocked you out.
Is the executive director of Israel's National Cyber Directorate. He was arrested after a sting bust in Las Vegas. He was meeting up with who he thought was a minor, and he's allowed to board a plane and to go back to Israel where he will not face charges. And here's another thing. He's extremely connected to Netanyahu. In fact, his department works in Netanyahu's office. He was acting head of data and AI for the directorate, which means he oversaw AI-driven cyber ops, including disinformation, social media monitoring, and content control. And it actually turns out, Grok has admitted that this guy was actually the reason he was censored, that this is the guy that tells social media what they need to be taking off the internet.
Tom Alexandrovich is with the National Cyber Unit. He is the head of the Technological Defense Department.
The state prosecution received almost 30, I think it handled 26,000 and received about 40,000 inquiries starting from the 7th of October regarding inciting content, about content that leads to demoralization, about some malicious content. This is huge data. 90% of this data is all under the Meta group, which includes Instagram, Facebook, and so on. There are organized campaigns on this issue. We saw a lot of posts. A lot of posts that the prosecution removed. Several hundred posts of content associated with
It is an initiative that came from Iran.
It is not only about such enemies. We are also talking about activists or other anti-Israeli activities that are organizing against Israel. I also encourage people to report to us so that others can benefit from it.
So not only is he an Israeli wielding power, requesting X remove posts from the internet, but he's also with this kind of power under the direction of Netanyahu, working directly out of his office, and now just gets away with crimes here in the United States. You can come to the United States and molest our kids and just go back to Israel, no problem. The United States has shown once again with sending this home without demanding extradition back to the United States, without preventing him from getting on that flight in the first place. The United States shows once again we are completely and totally and utterly morally bankrupt when it comes to Israel.
Yeah.
Well said, Miss Kim.
Yeah. Right. Completely, totally bankrupt. Did you notice it was such classic propaganda when the guy who was interviewing this child molester goes, and so Iran was involved? Just throws it in there, right? Out of nowhere. He's talking about American data. So Iran was part of it. But then we do that we do that shit all the time on CNN.
Yeah.
I mean, my
Well,
God.
we try to like do the boogeyman thing, you know.
Right. But again, folks, you know, that's where this country is, how we are operating. And it's just classic that MAGA, they are all about stopping the pedophiles, right? That's their main thing. Looks like your leader's been protecting the pedophiles here. So, and also trying to censor that story. I mean, they won't cover that story. That's a pretty big story. This is the acting U.S. attorney. So this is from Max Blumenthal. Sigal Chata, sorry if I mispronounced, the acting U.S. attorney who enabled, the flight of accused Israeli child sex predator and cyber spy, Tom Alexandrovich, campaigned for Nevada AG by boasting of her Israeli citizenship and pushing crass hatred of Muslims. Her campaign ad was called Israeli Born. So, yeah, and she said she was going to be the premier conservative attorney general. So code word to get, Republicans and MAGA to be behind her.
Did you want me to put up this thing that says Maine?
I think that's probably enough on this story. I just wanted to know that, that make sure
It's Don King had some,
that folks got the story, and that, this is the way that this government is operating. We do what Israel wants. We take orders from Israel and we follow through.
I think we should put this.
Okay.
I just went and looked at it.
Go ahead.
So just in, Trump administration directly intervened at Israel's request to release Israeli cybersecurity official Tom Alexandrovich, charged with sex crimes against children, and give him safe passage back to Israel. This is who Trump is, y'all.
Yeah, and actually, you're right. I'll read this part.
Oh, I'm sorry. Put it back.
I have now confirmed with the officers involved in this sting that the Trump administration personally intervened at Israel's request to override U.S. law enforcement, including their own federal agents involved in this sting, to make sure that Alexandrovich got back to Israel quickly and safely. The officers told me they couldn't believe it. They had worked for weeks with the FBI, Homeland Security, and the Nevada Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force to run this sting. They caught Alexandrovich red-handed. They hooked him, charged him, and logged him into Henderson County's systems like every other suspect. And then, despite the Trump administration itself authorizing the sting, Trump's own team stepped in and blew up their work. So it was just a confirmation that this operation had been involved, and they got this guy in his thing, and then the Trump team did their work.
Yep. So did you want to do the RBN? I didn't get a chance to watch it.
No, that'll be a little long.
It'll
be a long one. Yeah. We can end with Joe. Let's end on a positive with Joe.
Yeah. So here's what you can do about it. Donate $26 a month to Illinois Green Party and help us change this in Illinois, or donate to Butch Ware, or donate to the National Green Party, whatever you got to do. And Jill gives you all the reasons why.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here at the 2025 GPUS annual national meeting, and it's really an honor to be here with you. It's an honor to have our team all together, and we are very excited to share with you what we think are real achievements that the party got to in the course of the campaign. And one of the lessons of running presidential campaigns is that the campaign is only as good as the party is. And if there's one lesson to take away from it, it's that if we want a strong presidential campaign, if we want a strong campaign for any office, really, it really depends on our building a strong party right now. And that, if anything, is the bottom line, that our, in as much as our lives and our future depend on political change, they depend on challenging power, and they depend on taking power. And we can only do that to the extent that we are building the power right now. So that's kind of our overarching lesson. But we are very excited to give you a lot of the particulars. So we've entitled this report that we are the #1 people-powered party. And there's much to celebrate and much to grow from. And this is actually literally true. I'm sure you know by now that we emerged as the #1 vote getter among the non-corporate, that is to say, the people-powered political parties. We emerged hands down #1. In fact, we received 5 times, that is 500%, more votes than the next biggest non-corporate vote getter, which was PSL, the Party of Socialism and Liberation. We got 5 times as many votes as they did. They were #2. We got 10 times as many votes as the #3, which was Cornel West. So that's really amazing. We also got far more votes than the Libertarians. I don't remember exactly what their numbers were, but that was maybe a first for us. So this was a real achievement. We doubled our vote count over 2020. And perhaps most importantly, we provided the only anti-genocide, pro-worker, anti-fascist climate emergency campaign that was able to fight its way onto the ballot for a majority of voters and thereby be taken seriously as a real contender. And what's all the more, remarkable was to do this in the face of unprecedented political repression, which continues, of course. And that included their so-called army of lawyers, which they proudly announced even before the beginning of the campaign. The DNC announced they would be hiring an army of lawyers to throw us off the ballot wherever they could. They publicly, for the first time that we know of, they publicly advertised for people to manage infiltrators and spies who would be, basically reporting back and seeking to disrupt. And we're quite confident that that was going on. It's probably been going on for a long, long time, but now we actually have proof of that. They also sponsored proudly a so-called war room for disinformation and smears against us. And they spent 10 times as much on their war room just to smear the campaign as the cost of our entire campaign. And that tells you, that is a real mark of success. It tells you that they are indeed extremely threatened by not just the vision that we represent, which is what the American people are really craving, but they are also terrified of our capacity to actually build an organization with that vision. They sometimes give lip service, as we all know, to pieces of that, but then they will systematically undermine any candidate who tries to campaign on that basis, whether it's AIPAC and the money that AIPAC provides to Democrats, which I think is even more than they provide to Republicans, or it's just the billionaire funding that comes in. We know that Kamala Harris received funding from a record number of billionaires and raised it in a record amount of time. On the other hand, Donald Trump raised 44% of all the money he raised came from 10 people. It tells you, what a system of incredible oligarchy it is that we are fighting. Well, in spite of their dollars, they are extremely threatened by what we represent. So, the race that we all ran together, I think, really needs to be regarded as an absolutely unqualified and remarkable success, and everyone should be congratulated for it. And one of the lessons, as I mentioned, is that a campaign is only as strong as the party. And I will just say that we have lots of good candidates. We have no shortage of good candidates. What we need is funding. And for that, we need strong fundraising starting now. We need strong communications, and kudos to the communications and the press committee. They are doing an excellent job, but they also need more staff support. And in particular on social media, we very much need a communications and social media director if we are going to be a part of the current electorate, which is getting younger all the time. And we need strong ballot access. And there were lots of lessons to be learned on ballot access. Ballot access, in brief, needs to be considered a minefield, an absolute minefield of threats all over. It's very hard for states to keep up with the shifting requirements and all the technical details. So even though we rely a lot on the states need a lot of support. And I want to give a shout out to Rick Lass for doing an incredible heroic work on ballot access, which he continues to do. But we need a year-round ballot access coordinator, and we need to be funding that work. So if there's any take-home lesson here, it's that we all need to be contributing. We especially need to support the hiring of strong staff, and shout out to Georgia for the great job that she did, both on the campaign and then after the campaign, as a part-time staffer. Georgia has some competing priorities for the moment, and congratulations to Roby for stepping up. We're very excited to have Rose leading the charge, but we need to support our fundraising directors. And I'll just give a quick mention of a strategy that's been mentioned, one of many, which is that we all become sustainers. Everybody becomes a sustainer in the party starting now. And I ask everyone to join me, whatever you can do, if it's a $5 a month, or it's a $50 a month, or $100 a month, whatever you can afford. It's time for us to step up and really take not just our campaigns, but also the whole party seriously. It's only as good as we make it. We can all critique the party till the cows come home. But it's really important to remember it's only as strong as we make it, because we are a grassroots people-powered party. So the take-home lesson here, is participation, support, fundraising, and contribute. Become a monthly donor, a monthly sustainer, and it will make all the difference in the world.
All right, nice, very nice. I'm glad I didn't get a chance to see that, so that was fun to see that. I want to comment to Brian about. I hope she runs again. I guarantee you, the person that wants to run the least next time around is Jill Stein. She actually didn't even want to run this time. It was the whole thing with Cornel West signing on, being our candidate for a couple weeks or months or whatever it was, and then dropping out. She was his campaign manager. She had to step up. She did not want to do it. So, no, I think that we do need someone else for next time around. But yeah, she didn't even want to do it this time. But she did a fantastic job. Fantastic. And yeah, I think, I love some of the points she made. I think one of them is that, it'd really be helpful to get behind a candidate and help them. So reach out to Edie, reach out to Alexandria, reach out to someone else out in, that We've had a lot of people on Green Live Stream as
Andy
guests
Ellis in
who are running,
Maryland is doing a fantastic job.
right? Butch Ware, just any, you know, to help folks with their campaigns. And we need visibility. Share their posts, share their, you know.
You're right,
Yeah,
Kim.
yeah,
She's
I'm
done
a
her part
huge,
and more.
yeah, I'm a huge
She's
Jill
definitely
Stein
with
fan.
the extra mile, and she's still going through that incident that happened in WashU where the cop pushed her down with a bicycle and then they charged her with assault.
Yeah, I'm not sure. She hasn't really, she said it's ongoing.
She probably can't
She
talk about
hasn't,
that.
yeah, maybe not. Maybe
But,
not.
you know, if you've been around us very long, you've probably seen the video a couple times.
Yeah.
And I just want to respond to our chat.
Yeah. Go for it.
Here at the Green Party, we talk to each other with respect.
Oh,
we don't do that. So sorry, Aphrodite's pearls. Gonna block you.
Oh.
And I'm the one that did it, so deal with me.
Yeah.
because this tit for tat, and then there's also there's some criticisms of Butch's campaign, but you got to look at the goal.
Right.
You can't be a purist. You got to say, hey, yeah, this isn't perfect, but the goal we're after and the person that I'm supporting would be, a million times better than what we have. So you can't just keep picking everything apart. This is how we consistently lose.
Right.
Is this person authentic? Would they do a much better job? Absolutely. Well, overlook a little personality differences and just get in there and do the work.
Yeah. I mean, that again, that's another problem with the left is wanting some kind of perfect candidate. And I see that so much. I see it. Oh, I don't support the Green Party because of one person said blah, 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 blah. And you're going to just not support the entire party and all that.
The Democratic and the Republican parties, even though they actively did a genocide and have been destroying the world for decades.
And just, I mean, to understand what is required if we're going to make change, right? I mean, like I said, I want to work with anti-war people who probably don't have the best, trans issues. I'm sure they don't. But we gotta work. We gotta work and have success. We have to have success. Butch Ware is a fantastic candidate. No, he ain't perfect. I know. I disagree on a couple of things that he said in his past. It's not important. We gotta win. We gotta win, folks. He's our chance of winning.
It's not a deal breaker. And a lot of times people, the more that they learn and the more they get exposed to, other cultures and other people's stories, sometimes their views shift a little. You might come into the gate thinking one thing, you might leave with a totally different idea about something you thought was true. I mean, that's the sign of somebody that knows critical thinking and knows how to grow. I mean, the minute you think you got all the answers, dude, you're wrong.
Oh God. I mean, yeah, right. Exactly.
Be careful. Lesser of evils is how Dems get you to vote for them. But the difference between Greens and Dems is still
right. It's such a.
Not talking about lesser evil. We're talking about imperfect people.
But he's right that it's not even like those aren't even the same conversations. To talk about it, the Democratic and Republican world is so different from the Green world. I mean, as Jill Stein said, it's a people-powered thing. It really, truly is, folks. I mean,
if you've ever worked with the Green Party, you'll know that that's true.
Yeah, it's just some people. It's honestly, seriously, just some people who get together on a Zoom. That's what it is, folks.
And get their assignments and then try to go do their best. That's
right.
Yeah.
But that's the right space to be in. That's the right space to be in. I don't want a top-down system where I take orders from some person on high. No. And we're going to disagree. People in the Green Party do not have a universal viewpoint on everything by far.
It's not
but we get the core. We get the core ideas. We get the core things of what need to be changed. So that's why we're here. That's why Edie and I are here. Edie and I don't agree on everything, but it's why we're here. It's because we understand the core of what needs to be done.
Yeah. The bigger picture, we can have our smaller differences, but I still greatly respect Scott's opinion, even if I disagree with him.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. No, it's about prioritizing what's important. And what's important is that the Green Party have some wins and we get some exposure. And I think the dam will break, folks. It will. It wants to. I mean, all the data is showing like that people want change.
Yeah.
So we just got to present them with something that they can believe in, and I think they'll come on board. I really do.
And last thing before we go, I know we've kept you here a long time. I so appreciate everybody hanging with us.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Really,
we
thank
had a
you
little
so
extra
much.
time this afternoon, but please, we have 37 people watching at least. That's the number that my screen
Okay.
shows me.
All right.
Could be a lot more.
Yeah, sticking around because it was even much higher earlier. So thanks for sticking around.
Please donate monthly. Monthly is where the action is, even if it's $5. Yeah.
And subscribe if you haven't. Please subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking next Saturday off now. We will be here Wednesday. And the following Wednesday, I may be myself on some of the Wednesdays. I'm not sure. And then Kalia will be joining us on September 3rd, I think it is. It's a Saturday. So Kalia's going to co-host with me. I'm very excited. Alexandria, just the Sum 41 song. All we need is something to believe in. It's from the song We're All to Blame. I recommend it. Okay, we'll go look it up. And yeah. So thanks everybody.
And our next guest will be Eddie Espinoza. He was at the National.
Eddie's he's the coolest. Oh God, you're gonna love
global
Eddie.
warming news. It's far worse than we think. 2, remove AIPAC from American politics. 3, end the genocide in Gaza. 4, end the American empire. I like to put in quotes, to save the country. 5, declare a climate emergency. 6, climate change adaptation mitigation solutions. And 7, the fossil fuel industry must transition to renewable.
Yeah.
That's Eddie Espinoza's.
All right. Yeah, it's going to be a good show on Wednesday, folks. So stop in. And no show next Wednesday. So just so you know.
Oh, next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. And we don't have a guest for next Wednesday, so
we'll get it. We'll get it together.
We'll get somebody. Okay.
Thanks everybody.
All right, thanks everybody, and go donate and vote green.
Bye. All right. Bye.
An uprising, we're rising up. It's an uprising, we're rising up. It's an uprising. Fight the power. It's an uprising. Fight the power.